Hey friends, this is Rachel, and today we will be painting this patriotic vintage truck in watercolor. So, let's hop right into it. I'm using this Paul Rubens Vibrant set, but we'll list the colors used in the description so you can use what you have to paint along with me. Oh, and I'm also using masking fluid and bleed-proof white. First, I'm going in with the masking fluid on a little applicator and blocking out all of those giant flowers in the bed of the truck. I use this tool because it is far easier to clean than using a brush. Once that masking fluid is dry and I lighten the sketch using my kneaded eraser, I will go in with our first color, Payne's Gray, for the entire inside of the truck cab. Then going in with a light wash of black over the tires, adding more pigment where the tire is in shadow. I rarely use black watercolor. I tend to mix my own dark values using mostly ultramarine and burnt umber, but there's other colors you can use too. It tends to give the painting more vibrancy and life when you use different colors and not just two black. But for the sake of this illustration and convenience, I am using black. Next, I'm laying in some greenery and foliage in the bed of the truck. You can kind of go crazy here with colors, letting the colors blend and flow together, and just have fun with it. You can even switch up the color palette to change the mood of the piece. Purples, pinks, and blues for a softer spring pastel vibe. Bright oranges, yellows, reds for an autumn vibe. Whatever you want. I love how something as simple as color choice can completely change the tone of a piece. I start on the American flag next, blacking in ultramarine for the square, and then I add depth to that using Payne's Gray. And then using a bright red for the stripes. When I paint, I really like to bounce around a painting. Work on one section at a time, lay down a base color, then move on to another section while that one dries. Especially as a mama with a growing family, any time-saving techniques are important for working on a piece. For the rusty bumper, I am laying in a thin wash of black, then touching in burnt sienna for the rusty spots. You'll see the same wet-on-wet charging technique repeated for the rest of the truck too. I'll lay in the cerulean color for the shiny metal areas on the truck, the grille, the headlights, and I think they're called hubcaps. The body of the truck uses Prussian blue, working section by section, laying in a thin wash, charging in burnt sienna pigment in the rusty areas, and charging more rich Prussian blue for the value variation. And then I'll also lift out color with a clean, damp brush to accentuate the highlighted areas. Next up, I'll be mixing a more concentrated version of Prussian blue and Payne's gray for shadow tones. Take that same color mix to add depth to the second layer of the truck, paying attention to details that bring this 50s Chevy to life. The seams between the body panels, shadows where the body curves, darker shadows under the wheel wells and in the rims, the space between the shiny metal grille lines. Once I feel good about those details, I'll remove the masking fluid to work on the finishing touches, the banner and the giant flowers in the truck bed. I'll start with the white flowers using a thin wash of burnt sienna to add dimension to the center of the flowers, a thin wash of bright red over the other flowers before hopping on over to the banner. The banner alternates bright red, white, and ultramarine. Then I hop on over to the grass under the truck, and the colors used are hooker's green, burnt sienna, and then to pump up the contrast, I'll add Payne's gray for the shadow. Once those flags are dry, I'll hop back over to work on those, adding shadow using some Payne's gray mixed with whatever base color for that particular flag. I've switched over to a fine detail brush and a deep brown to paint the twine that is stringing up that banner. And then I use that same deep brown for the letters or numbers on the white flags. then I'll use that bleed proof white. It's basically just a really opaque white water-based paint, and I will use that for the letters and numbers on the colorful flags. And while I have that bleed proof white open, I actually end up going around the painting and adding fine details where the trim is ultra shiny. And for this step, I highly recommend less is more. As we wrap up today's painting, I hope this little vintage truck reminds you to slow down and celebrate with the people that you love. Whether you're spending the 4th around a campfire, watching fireworks, grilling with the family, or simply enjoying a quiet afternoon. I hope you'll also take a moment to thank God. James 1:17 tells us that every good and perfect gift is from above. Every blessing we enjoy, our families, our homes, our opportunities, our freedoms that have been sacrificed for more than we could ever repay, every blessing is ultimately a gift from Him. Happy 4th of July, and thank you for painting along with me. If you recreate this one, I would absolutely love to see it. Tag me anywhere at Highlands Artistry. That's it for me today. I'll see you next week. Until then, stay creative, stay faithful, and stay rooted in grace. Bye, guys.